Let's get it on.
Man, what was that, Top Billin? What? Come on, man. Listen, I knew TCU was in trouble when its fans started coming in talking about Kent State. Started propping up a high school style defense, right? A 3-3-5 defense, talking about it matching physicality with a team that has like 25 NFL players on it. The discrepancy in talent is one thing. It's a whole nother ball game to be coming in running a defense that is not line of scrimmage dependent, if you get what I'm saying there. To me, man, I don't know. I'll take it personal. You come playing against me with a 3-3-5 defense, and I have NFL offensive linemen. I have NFL running backs, a host of them, right, that I can just keep rotating. Georgia went about 4 deep last night at running back. Georgia has several players on this offensive line that's going to be first-round draft picks, right, and beyond that, right? The whole line probably getting drafted in some type of fashion. You can't do that. They have blocking tight ends, the best blocking tight ends in the country. Brock Bowers, right, a.k.a. Brock Bowers or b.k.a. Brock Bowers, and, of course, Granddaddy Darnell Washington. The receivers block. Come on, man. This is not high school. I hate that fucking defense. I can't even front, man. That's like, to me, if you line up against me in a 3-3-5 defense, that's like if I'm about to fight you and you start doing something like this. Like, yeah, come on. Come on, buddy. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're not taking the fight seriously, bro. You in the 3-3-5, you're not taking it seriously. I'm sorry. That's just what it is right there, man. Much love to TCU. I always respect the game. TCU does have a few players that will be in the NFL that we'll be hearing about for a long time to come, but not enough to be going against Georgia. So don't come up on Top Billin with wishful thinking in place of analysis, if you get what I'm saying there. There's no way anybody out there thought that TCU could line up and beat Georgia. Using Michigan as a barometer was dumb as hell. Like I said to people in the comment section, Georgia isn't Michigan. Styles make fights. Georgia is a passing team. I've done stated that the entire year. Georgia's a passing team this year that can still rely on its rushing prowess. Let that sink in. None of these quarterbacks are lining up are flat out better than Stetson Bennett. And it doesn't matter anyway because Stetson Bennett is going against your weak-ass defenses. He's not going against another quarterback. But even if it was a quarterback versus quarterback matchup, which I think is the dumbest thing to ever say there, he's as good as anybody in the country. And I have stated that for 2 years in a row. Come on, man. When are y'all going to catch up? It's too late now, right? Back-to-back national championships for the University of Georgia. I could tell that people were just mad that they've taken over college football, and it became more of a wishful thinking thing than an actual thinking thing, if you get what I'm saying there. So check this out.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.
I actually want to start with a little bit of Georgia's defense. Much maligned defense that I said prior to it had some performances against some very good teams, and it absolutely showed up. If you're thinking about Oregon and especially Tennessee, I said this as well. People are prisoners of the moment. So people are like, oh, Ohio State is what you judge Georgia about because it's the latest game. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't think that to be the case, right? That Tennessee game, they showed up. That was one of those games. You can tell Georgia's just a big game team. It likes that type of moment. Tennessee, every bit as dangerous as Ohio State. And I believe Tennessee to be a better team than Ohio State. I believe if they lined up, Tennessee would beat Ohio State. If all things equal, everyone's healthy, Tennessee is Ohio State's equal, but I believe it has a little bit more on the line of scrimmage there. So, hey, take that for what it's worth there. I didn't think TCU had it like that on offense and definitely not on defense. Tennessee would have to run the ball to beat Georgia, and that ain't happening. I'm sorry, Jack. But check this out right here. People going to say, like, man, where's Jalen Carter been and stuff like that? This is where he's been, right? He's the hammer in this situation. You can see him splitting a huge double team right here, allowing for a guy like Barrett Alexander, a young kid you'll see starring next year that nobody knows about, that come loop around as the nail in this situation, right? You get a late ad, you get Chambliss here off the edge as well. It's just one of those things where it's just, man, can you stop it if it's coming? Check this out right here. Oh, look at that. Look at Jalen Carter right here. 2 men on him, and people don't understand, like, if you're that guy, people are going to give extra attention to you. That's just what it is. But what is his extra attention allow for? It allows for Bear Alexander to get home. Once you knew that they were getting pressure on TCU, it was a wrap. You just knew it. It was a wrap right away anyway, right? TCU got one little gif of a blown coverage. Like, worst game ever. I can't even front. Worst game ever. I barely wanted to watch it after halftime or whatever like that, but that's how great Georgia is. You got to give it its props. As much as we don't want to give it its props, right? Well, I'm neutral in this, you know what I'm saying? I give props or give credit where credit is due, but most of y'all out there ain't going to give Georgia props. Y'all going to be making up shit. Y'all still going to be talking about Kent State 40 years later as if it matters. Come on, man. Now, look, a real man's line of scrimmage. 5 players along the line of scrimmage. Watch Bear Alexander again. Oh, look at him wreck the center. Oh, my goodness. Max Duggan with the escape plan, trying to detach, right? Exit plan wasn't on point right here. But look at Alexander. Split the man. Give him half a man right there. Get skinny, right? If a big old bear can get skinny. And look at that. My man had to just hold pockets, right? He was in pocket holding mode like out there in prison. And look, prison loving ensued. He was getting to your bunkie regardless. And look at it. Missionary style. Missionary style right there. Come on, man. This was absolutely embarrassing if you are a fan of line of scrimmage play. Complete mismatch on the line of scrimmage. And listen, I buried the lead. Actually, let's take a little bit of a detour here, right? I forgot to get on a couple of people in the comment section. All right, I have a special request for internet sleuths out there. I need you to find this Connor Dansport cat right here. The biggest coward in the history of the internet. This dude came here, right? He was the pinned tweet. He was the second pinned tweet, actually. He said that TCU way better. Ask Michigan, who was smaller and slower than us. Really? I'm very confused by that. This is another thing. People can't analyze properly. People were talking about what TCU did to Michigan, and I must have watched a different game. I remember a couple of pick sixes for TCU, and I also remember Michigan scoring 45 points. 45 points was more than Ohio State and Georgia both scored. But people were talking about TCU's defense. I was very confused by this. They put up like 500 yards and 45 points. Come on, man. Georgia isn't, but TCU is hardcore. You'll see TCU 55, Georgia 31. This coward erased his comment at halftime. He erased his ping. I've never seen, well, I've seen that before, right? Cats be trying to get me all the time. I felt it coming, so I screenshotted it, but I couldn't get the rest of his replies. He was going hard up until kickoff. That was 3 days of this dude responding to everybody, and he was going extremely hard talking about what Georgia isn't, what TCU is, and all this and that. And I said, I'm pretty sure this is CUI, commenting under the influence of hallucinogens. Saying TCU will win is perfectly fine as it's a one-game scenario, but predicting the team with the better personnel across the board and a better record against better competition will get blown out is a bit silly. Anything is possible in this world, but at least be realistic with your prediction. Come on, man. TCU 55, Georgia 31. What? Find this cat. I need you to find this cat for me. Coward, man. You a fucking coward. Man coverage across the board. Keely Ringo and Quentin Johnston. You got Javon Bullard here in the slot. Kamari Lassiter right here as well. And then you got that 2 deep shell I've been talking about. You got to have against some of these teams that want to try to push the ball downfield. You want to keep everything in front of you. But what I say and I talk about most, opposite hash throws. Look at this dude right here, Max Duggan, trying to complete an out route. This is a long throw. You have to be able to absolutely hose that bad boy, right? You can't lollipop it. I talk about it all the time. This is 2 straight games, right? It happened for TCU against Michigan where there was a lazy out route being thrown, and then you get TCU right here with this. Duggan kind of drifting, all arm, Javon Bullard, Jakob. And everybody got fertilized. Come on. Everybody fertilized. Everybody was fertilizing. But look, you got this right here. He's telegraphing it the entire way anyway. Pocket collapsing on him, right? A man lollipops this John. Look, all arm throw. He's already, look, he's not stepping to anything. It's just a hip rotation throw here. All arm, not going to happen. You trying to push it Opposite hash, Javon Bullard. Easy money right there. Nasty. Easy money sniper. Come on. Look at this joint right here. Scheme to death. You'll get Quentin Johnston here on a deep post. It looks like he's got nothing but airspace and opportunity. You have the nickel back here, Javon Bullard, way off the ball at safety depth. You have, 6 men on the line of scrimmage here. But look, you get a couple of cats who drop off, and they're both the edge cats. They drop in the hook zone. Same deal right here. So you get this inverted coverage, but they're sending double A gap pressure with Jamon Dumas-Johnson and Smile Munden. Got Michael Walker over here as well. He's getting there. Then you got Jalen Carter over here at the end as well. You get this man straight up fooled. He's throwing off of his back leg again. And your man Javon Bullard, Johnny on the spot. Look at this. Javon. Ooh, snap. Javon Dumas-Johnson. What is he doing here, right? Look, Javon Dumas-Johnson, you got 3 people on Smile Munden. He didn't even get anywhere. Stop, drop, and roll right here because he's on fire. Jamon Dumas-Johnson. And then you got Max Duggan throwing off his back foot, who that clown said was better than Stetson Bennett. Houseway. Better than Stetson Bennett? Come on, man. What are we doing here? This man wasn't even a starter at the beginning of the year. But look at that. Throwing off of his back foot right here. Javon Bullard already at depth. He couldn't get anything on it. Well, actually, he got a lot on it, right? He sold that bad boy right to Javon Bullard because he was just throwing up a hope and a prayer. Scheme to death. Coach Smart, Coach Muschamp coming together again with some really good scheming. Now, this is scary. I want you to look at this and the amount of talent that they'll have coming back next year as well. They are absolutely loaded still, even next year. And you can see the young guys in the final game of the season start to step up in a national championship game and get that experience, which happened last season. Because remember, I said that they won the national championship last year with their least talented team. And that was a team that had all those first-round draft picks because I was thinking about the future of this particular team right here. I knew that this team right here was going to be absolutely lit because they had all those upperclassmen behind those guys that had left that was going to be there, and they had nasty underclassmen as well. This next team is going to be nasty too. Look at this. You got Bear Alexander here working with Michael Williams, and you got guys like Trevor Marshall, of course, Smile Money and all these guys. These guys are all coming back, man. Watch this work right here. They try to slide protect. You see that? I don't know if they're sliding. It looks like they may be sliding to Bear Alexander. He was getting in that ass. He was digging in them buns, baby. He's sliding over there, slide protect over there to him, and watch Michael Williams work over here against the last tackle. Bench press him, get around him, right? Bench pressed him, then hit him with the arm under, ran the arc, right? Hula hooped his ass, and then this man is just food, right? Absolute feast. He can't go anywhere. Splaka tie collapsed his spinal column. He's done. He's shortened. His neck shortened, legs shortened, everything. Leprechaun ass. Right. Bear Alexander back in there again. He's everywhere. Right. Freshman. Smile Munden, Tresman Marshall, Nas Stackhouse. You lose Robert Bill, but you could just see the amount of talent that these guys. This is high-level first-round draft pick type cats. Michael Williams, I talked about him earlier in the season. I thought he would be the one to step up for Nolan Smith, and you saw that. I think he may be even better than Nolan Smith. He's a more natural pass rusher than a Nolan Smith, and he still has that shit about him like Nolan as far as being able to hold contain and being able to get after the rush. Johnston here, kind of getting to the post. You'll get Davis here switching off here, and he's getting vert outside. So they switch release that. What's going on here, you can see Javon Bullard communicate with Keely Ringo and say that, all right, we're banjoing this, meaning whomever comes in our zone, we get. You don't play this like man coverage. It's zone coverage with man principles. So if you see him, he has this zone right here, Ringo right here. So that means if he's coming right here, Davis, Ringo gets him, and then Johnson coming this way, he goes into Bullard's zone. However, you'll see Ringo here. He plays it like his man coverage. Look at this. He runs with Johnston into Bullard zone here. So they both go with him, and then you leave this guy out here because Ringo was supposed to be still out here in his zone covering Davis on a banjo. So a fairly simple concept, just a miscommunication there, and that led to that long reception from them, and then they end up running it in. Other than that, though, prison loving. I love some of these third down simulated pressure packages right here. They were fabricating a lot of shit, but guess what? They were doing the stuff that I've been talking about and preaching. Rush 3, drop 8. Watch this right here. You get a rush from, I want to say this Michael Williams out here, right? And then, of course, you got, I'm not sure what that is. I can't see the number right now. But you're pretty much rushing your 5 techniques, and then you're rushing your shade. But you got a special packaging, right? Max Duggan likes to create with his feet. They put Jalen Walker in right here, who can absolutely run as an off-ball linebacker. You have Smile Monday, who can absolutely run as an off-ball linebacker. Got this freshman here. Got this sophomore here. Both them dudes can run, and they're pretty much just spying on Max Duggan. Only rushing 3 right here. You got man coverage across the board. If you have that good a feeling about your man coverage while still being able to keep 2 players at depth in a 2-deep shell, Max Duggan has nothing he can do about this. It's actually Robert Bill right here, and I believe that's Jalen Carter. And you'll see right here, my man just abandons technique, right? He's in FEMA mode, abandoning technique here, and just, what kind of throw is that? It's like he's throwing from second, right? Second base, rounding it to first base or something like that. He whips his foot around. Obviously, you're not going to get much on that right there. He skips this bad boy out the turf here. Come on, man. That is some straight up great game planning. That's absolutely getting in the film room and saying, what can we do better? Let's not have somebody beat us with their legs like C.J. Stroud was doing. C.J. Stroud's not even the type of dude to beat you with his legs, and he was able to do it, and they couldn't adjust. They adjusted in this game, man. A-plus defensive performance. I absolutely love the defensive performance, especially from all those people talking shit about how good TCU's offense was. Come on, man. See, in this joint right here, Georgia on his game. Open field tackling, something that I talked about before the last game. And you really got to see it come to fruition here, right? You get your swing passes out. You have your second and third level players converging. Kamari Lassiter right here. Head on the outside stick. Right? One more again. Let's see it. Bing! Right? He was done. Fired everybody up right then and there. You already knew. Oh, shit, look at my man right here. What's he doing? Oh, look, he got them granddaddy hops. Look at that. 0.5 inches off the ground, granddaddy hops. He got everybody fired up, right? You got your cornerback out there tackling and everything. Man, Georgia is just a scary program. They have completely taken over college football, changed the landscape, took it, snatched it from Alabama. Not to say Alabama's going anywhere. Alabama's going to be damn good as well. But at the very least, you know they are now Alabama's equal, if not a tad bit better than Alabama. And you got a host of other programs as well. Listen, Penn State, baby, my Nittany Lions. We in there like swimwear next year. We're going to compete amongst the great. I want Georgia. I want to shoot for the moon, right? I want the best. I want to see Penn State play Georgia in the college football playoff, but obviously going to be a tough road to hoe with Ohio State, Michigan, and all that. Penn State going to be the truth. Georgia's still going to be the truth. Man, maybe Tennessee again, right? The Milton kid looked real good. Clemson going to always be there. I would think TCU again, right? They shouldn't be in the playoffs ever again from that performance, right? 65-7. Listen, this is where I knew TCU was in trouble. I knew TCU was in trouble when Lee Corso did this goofy shit. He was trying to be a contrarian. I can't show the video of it, but this shit was so uncomfortable. Lee Corso clearly had no clue where he was to begin with. And you had dumbass Pat McAfee here being annoying as shit. He took about 8 minutes to make a pick. He was pantomiming and he was doing all kinds of weird shit. And Lee Corso had to sat there with a look on his face because he was waiting to go for his turn. But he had to try to be a contrarian, make it look like he was disagreeing or agreeing. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but his face was all contorted and shit. He was like, for like 6 minutes while Pat McAfee held up national TV. Then he put on the Georgia, he pretended like he was going to put on the Bulldogs head. Then he said TCU because he picked against them before, I guess with Michigan or something like that. Listen, no type of analysis. That man legitimately was struggling, right, with his faculties and shit like that. And that's the type of person that would go with TCU, right? Mad respect to Lee Corso, right? He's the author of our childhood and everything. He was the absolute man at one particular point in time. But they got to stop letting this guy come out on national TV doing this weird shit. Come on, man. All right. I just wanted to talk about the defense. We're going to have to get to the offense. It needs its own special shine right there. But defense wins championships. Line of scrimmage play. I wanted to reiterate that to the people, right, who were saying that defense was done and all this and that. Georgia showed that defense is alive and well, my friend. And I absolutely loved it. So check back with me, man, and we'll get on some of this shit from the offense. You had a little bit of LOL out there. Your man Granddaddy doing too much. Matter of fact, look at Granddaddy right here. All right, got a pretty snazzy concept here. You got Lad McConkey here. He's getting wheeled up the field. You have a fade route here by Dominic Blaylock. And you get your man Granddaddy here on his post. They go with all the cheese that's going to the left here and leave Granddaddy alone. And my man Granddaddy does what Granddaddy does. And look at right here. Stetson Bennett looked that off. Got the safety right here to bite on that. Then starts looking at the cheese to the left. And then Granddaddy gets up for the down straight. Oh. Watch out there now, boy. Granddaddy always trying to make everything look spectacular to you when you was a little kid. Right? You always thought Granddaddy was just the greatest thing of all time because he made everything look spectacular. Look at this man. He getting up for the downstroke, right, on a perfect throw. He did not have to jump. You could tell he didn't have to jump because he jumped 0.5 centimeters and tried to lift his legs up like he always does right here, and he still lands on his feet. Look how quick his leg came back. Look at his right leg, right? The one that he didn't lift up. Look how far it gets off the ground. Look. Come on. Why would you land on your feet and not fall if you had to jump that high in the air? Yeah, Granddaddy. Oh, no, boy. Don't be going at your Granddaddy knees there, boy. Watch out there now, boy. You know Granddaddy arthritis going to flare up. I got to go down easy. Watch out there now, boy. Come on, man. Man, hopefully Granddaddy stay around a little bit more. We get some more. Nah, that man's a first-round draft pick, man. Reva Dircher, your man Granddaddy for sure. That man was fun to cover, and it's definitely see him in the NFL. Hopefully he's out here in the Mid-Atlantic somewhere, baby, getting it in with the Eagles.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.